Good morning from Bali, my friends. Today I'd like to share with you the biggest lie that I believed for most of my life, and that sometimes my mind still tricks me into believing it. And I also think that probably most people out there believe it too. It is, and here it goes: if something happens, then I'll be happy. When I quit my job and start my own business to travel the world, then I'll be happy. When I find the partner of my dreams, the love of my life, then I'll be happy. When we finally have our first baby, then I'll be happy. When I get this promotion, or when we buy this big house, or when winter finally stops, or when I buy this amazing electric skateboard, then I'll be happy. When I reach 10,000 or 100,000 YouTube subscribers, or 50,000 Instagram fans, then I'll be happy. When I make $10,000 a month, then I'll be happy. Yep, I'm totally guilty of believing in many of those and chasing goals because I thought they would make me happy. They would provide me with lasting happiness for the rest of my life. Only then to realize about a year and a half ago or so that I was bullshitting myself. I believed a lie. And we're sold this lie through, with the way we're brought up, through our education, through our media, especially the media. Of course they want to sell us a lot of things that will ultimately make us happy. And yet, they might make you happy for a little bit. I've chased countries, I've chased business projects, I've chased women, believing that once I had them or experienced them, then I'd be happy forever. And they make you happy for a little bit, definitely. It's a pretty nice gratification to reach a goal, something that you wanted. But then that fades. And then what happens is we chase the next big thing, the next goal, the next dream, hoping that that will definitely make me happy. And so about a year and a half ago, I found myself living here in Bali. I had a 3-bedroom villa, because of course you need a 3-bedroom villa. I did have some friends come and go and stay with me sometimes, but yeah, I had a big house. It was beautiful. I was living here in paradise. I was going surfing. I was doing yoga a lot. I was just, doing the full 4-hour work week scenario. I was barely working. Had created a pretty successful business, more than I'd expected. I was making passive income. I'd created one of Germany's biggest travel blogs, Planet Backpack. I was getting emails every day from many readers and fans thanking me and, telling me how inspired they are. And I had all this money coming in and everything was great. I mean, on the outside, everything looked absolutely fabulous, amazing. But in reality, back then, I was going through one of my toughest times ever. I was going through some intense depressive times, actually. I was so depressed that I couldn't appreciate anything that I had. Just the thought of, realizing that now I've created all of this, now I have this life that I wanted, that I set out to have, 5 years prior, when I mapped out my perfect day and sat down to design the ultimate lifestyle that I wanted. And then realizing I achieved all of this. I had a life that many people were jealous of and wanted and were striving for, and yet I still wasn't happy. I didn't feel that fulfillment, that happiness inside of me. And it drove me crazy because I was like, well, what else am I supposed to do? And I didn't find any answers. There were quite a few dark nights of the soul where I was by myself and just feeling so lost and so sad and frustrated and depressed and not knowing exactly what is the meaning of all of this? Why am I here? And what's my purpose? Maybe I'm doomed to never be happy. I had the worst thoughts you can imagine. Or maybe can't, so maybe that's a good thing. And eventually I realized as I came out of the deep shit, I've had some ups and downs throughout my life, but that was definitely one that will stick with me forever probably, because through that phase I learned so much about myself, but also about happiness and about fulfillment and I just found a lot of answers throughout the course of the last year and a half, which doesn't mean I have figured it out completely. Absolutely not. I still struggle. I definitely still struggle with myself, with situations that present themselves, with a lot of emotions that are being triggered. Still a lot of things that impact me emotionally a lot. And like right now I'm doing a juice fast for 5 or 6 days, and I'm depriving myself of food and sugar and coffee and wine and all these beautiful things, and I'm at the same time I got my period today and I'm feeling pretty crap emotionally and mentally, to be honest. It's my day number 3. It gave me the space though to once again think about all of this, and I think about all this stuff basically every day. All these thoughts that I'm sharing with you right now. And I realized that when you take things away that you think make you happy, just like food, emotional eating for me is huge. I might not be overweight or anything, but when you don't eat, you realize the moments when you do want to eat, and then sitting with that feeling. But anyway, I used to distract myself with a lot of things to not feel myself and connect to myself and find those answers. And I used to chase all these things, when traveling all over the place, started all these business projects and went from one relationship to another, or relationship drama to another. And now looking back, I can just see I was so desperate to feel full, to feel whole, to feel connected. And as much as I've been on my spiritual path for about 5 or 6 years, the journey is by far not over. But thinking that once I reach something, then I'll be happy, thinking that once I find the love of my life, or once I've figured out my calling completely, then I'll be happy. I finally had to accept and let go of the idea that that's how life works, because it doesn't. To constantly be looking externally, outside of ourselves, for something to make us feel whole and happy every day, my conclusion is that that's not where it's at. It's inside of us. It's connecting to the deep part of ourselves where we feel alright every day, and it's not about feeling happy all day and smiling and, rainbows and unicorns, because I will have stuff thrown at me and intense situations, and I still have stuff to figure out, and probably for the rest of our lives. And so that in itself, trying to think that one day I have it all figured out and then I'll be happy, that in itself is an illusion that we hold on to. So for me, it's always about coming back to myself and finding that connection where I don't have to always look outside of myself or for the next big thing and the next trip and the next whatever, chasing after that, and just stop the chase. Of course, I'll always be wanting to do things. I'm very passionate in that way, and I love doing stuff, and I love feeling alive and all these things, but I don't want to get lost anymore in that illusion that it will provide me with ultimate happiness. To be okay if something doesn't work out. To be okay because if we have this idea that something will make us happy once we have it, or once it happens, then there's all these expectations tied on it. And then once that happiness fades as well, if something does happen, then we keep chasing the next thing, and there will always be more and more and more to chase. That's also the reason why there's so many super rich people who've basically achieved everything, and yet they're still super unhappy. I hope you got something out of this video. I know it's a deep one, but I needed to talk about it. I'd love it if you shared your thoughts or experiences, or just, yeah, share with me what you thought would make you happy but then didn't in the long run. Just share. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Always appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. And have a wonderful day. Bye.